All right, welcome back to Thrive America. I'm your host, Brent Brooks, joined by Venture Catalyst, Bob Farris. Bob, thanks once again for being a guest on our show.
Thank you.
And we were kind of cut you short a little bit there, and we were just kind of getting into what you were going to talk about, how raising big money is sometimes easier than little money. And I want to make sure you get an opportunity to really get that point across. So let's talk about how sometimes asking for larger chunks of money can be easier.
From one entity instead of trying to put it together from lots of little investors and friends and family and aunts and uncles and people at church and whatever. I get cold calls. When I first got into this world of deals, there were a strong handful of private equity groups, and the Colbert, Kravis, and the Carlyle Group, and all those big mega groups. And there were not a lot of the other ones. And now, last I heard, there were close to 2,000 private equity groups out there looking to get behind a businessman or a business person, politically correct, and help them grow their business through acquisition. I get cold calls from private equity groups letting me know about themselves, that they're looking for businesses in this space, in this EBITDA, which is a bottom line figure that these groups look at. I think to where we were going in the last segment, if you can identify a competitor or a companion business that could take you to that next level, if you're a $3 to $5 million company, you can become a $25 to $30 million company by acquiring with the backing of private money from one source. Now, you end up working basically as a platform company for them, but it puts you in a whole new league.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the better sources of money right these days, other than a bank loan.
And I think that for the folks watching, you're going to have to call Bob and talk to him. I think people would have to call you and talk to you more about that if you're watching the show. It seems like that's a whole realm of. I would have a realm of questions for you about how that works. But give Bob a call. You'll see his number on the blog below for more information about how Bob can help you within those areas. Let's talk about how you mentioned here a business owner, an entrepreneur must be able to change on a dime. What do you mean by this principle?
You may find yourself with various areas of your business that you love or that you started with, but that are just kind of there, and they may be a drag on not only your resources, your space, your capital, your passion, but they're not making you any money. And you can hang on to those way too long. And they can drain your capital and your resources and everything. And so you've got to learn to cut that out real quick, and follow what like my earlier people who just started coming buying from me, and you listen to that, turn on that, and push that out. And then in my own experience of working for myself, totally for myself, I've gone down several avenues and maybe stayed at them just a notch too long, and then needed to kind of put my finger in the wind and find out where the money is, and follow the money and the activity. And it's I think it can make a critical point in your life. One of the things we mentioned earlier was that life can oftentimes be a matter of luck. But luck is a matter of also getting in the middle of the road where it runs all over you.
I love that.
And you've got to keep moving and keep changing just a little bit to where that truck does just kind of come right at you. And it happens to people. It absolutely does. Whereas you can be trundling down doing what you started out doing with your original passion, and Starbucks comes blowing right by you.
Right.
Here you are, Caribou. Not to be pejorative, but you're not quite what Starbucks is.
So that's a good example, and I want to move you forward here to the next point. And And we talked a little bit about mentoring and so forth. What is a mentor, and why is that important to a young company or a business or your life?
It's funny how they come into your life. You
Yeah.
don't know where. You could be sitting next to somebody at a luncheon or at a breakfast meeting or whatever, and develop a like for each other. And one stops by to see the other. And it can be a retired executive. When I was running my business, in walked a real estate agent. Well, this real estate agent just happened to be the retired president, chairman of a local department store. And he was starting his second career, and he ended up teaching me a font of knowledge about inventory management and employee management that I didn't know. I didn't have that background. And through life, these kind of people have seemed to come into my world and have helped pull me up and along
And I think it's
sponsor
recognizing,
me.
yeah, sponsor you, and just for us to recognize that, I think, is key.
And I think these people want to do business with good people. And I think you always have to keep your standards, your ethics high, and you always have to, whenever you show up, you are successful.
You mentioned that before about just exuding confidence and exuding success wherever you go.
Wherever you go, even if it's been your worst day, even if your loan was just called.
Yep. So, final question for you, Bob. This is the show, as you know, is Thrive America, and our goal here is that people that tune in will not just survive, but they'll thrive in this economy. What advice would you give? And you can summarize what you've talked about, or there may be, and I know you mentioned there's not a silver bullet like you said in the break, but what comes to mind as we end our segment here for you as given?
Well, one thing that comes to mind is that no, I don't have a silver bullet, but a lot of some very successful businesses were started in the worst of times, and now may be a good time to start that little seedling of a new division of your business or a new idea, and start pushing that out.
Yes.
Because when the economies do turn around, and even though this is the most worst and systemic scenario that I think our nation's economy has experienced since the Depression, but I think that this is the time to really not be afraid to push forward, to try something new.
Navigate through what you see. And lastly, how do you want people to get in touch with you if they watch the show? What's a good way to let us know if we were interested in talking to you further? What would you like people to do here?
They can call.
give you a call.
Give me a call. Give me a call. I work for myself, and I team up with people.
Okay.
I've got a good, strong team of folks that I work with, depending on the opportunity. And if you're going to be posting my number, it's me. That's my only number. I'm totally wireless.
So, and just to kind of sum up what you do one more time, just for the people once again, you help put people together, put opportunities together, and
I put people, companies, opportunities, and money together.
Great. All right.
Get in the middle of all those plates spinning.
Well, thank you once again so much for coming on the show. I think you've really shared some great expertise with us today, and we look forward to seeing you in the future in different ways. And don't be a stranger around Blank Stage. All right. Thanks again for tuning in to Thrive America. We'll see you very soon.